Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Logan, and I'm here bringing you this review to this newest WHATUPRG project called Raul. Now, if you don't know who WHATUPRG is, he is the newest artist that has been signed to Reach Records, one of my personal favorite labels, housing artists like Lecrae, Andy Mineo, KB, and all of them. And he's one of these artists that's kind of stuck in the middle here, He's kind of trap, kind of hype, but then he also has a lot of storytelling. And for me, he actually has found a way to blend that very well, especially into the Christian aspect of it. He does a very good job of that. I did enjoy his first project under the label Pleasant Hill. I thought it was pretty good, although nothing really made it stand out to make me say, okay, wow, he's definitely cemented himself in there with all the rest of the Reach Records artists. Now, coming into this project, I was excited and hoping that he would take that next step. And, I mean, just straight out the gate, he did it. He absolutely did it. I really enjoyed this project. Its main theme is very deep, where he's talking a lot about his dad getting deported whenever he was younger because he was an illegal immigrant. And that's just some really deep content to be talking about, especially considering this is only a 15-minute, 7-track album, with 2 of the tracks being skits and one of them being completely in Spanish. Obviously that track would be very deep and sentimental. He's talking to his mom a lot on that one. It's a really good track. But yeah, this is just a really good project. Like I said, it's short and straight up to the point. It does have some hype elements, like on the song Freeze, where he's just flowing, he's getting really hyped, but then he also has lines where he says, "It's so cold like ice," referring obviously to how ice is cold, but also to the group ICE, ICE, that deports illegal immigrants. And then also on the song Swish, it gets really hype. It has really brief features by the artists 1K Few and Lecrae, both off of Reach Records. They both have really good features, and he's just flowing on here too. Has some really good beat switches, and he's just on here talking about how he's ballin', living his best life despite being poor and living check to check. And that's just something that's always good to hear. So you do have those hype tracks like that, and then also the last track is very hype free, where he talks about being free from anything that's holding you down and just being yourself, living for God, and all these great things. It's a really hype track, and it's the one where you can really tell, like, after all the hardship that he puts out throughout this entire project and lays out for you to hear, it's just where he's telling you, you know what, I'm still me, I'm free to be who I am, and I can be happy with that. Now he does, like I said, have some really sad tracks, especially coming out in the song 4 a.m., where he's just really lamenting about the fact that his dad was deported, and he's just going through a depression about that. He talks about how Jesus was an immigrant, and yet Christians don't care about that. However, he will have like a pastor. He says he talks to his pastor. His pastor says God's got a plan in all this, while he's smiling wearing a MAGA hat, MAGA, Make America Great Again. And, people are just hitting him with the Bible scripts and all that. And he just gets on here, he says, "Forget religion and politics, man. I just want to have my dad back." And that's something that I got to talk about, just how the reception of this album has brought out a lot of Christians to come out and just say, hey, you know what? If your dad didn't want to get deported, he shouldn't have come over here illegally. He should have done things the right way. And I'm not going to get into the whole debate of whether our legal system is fair and whether, we need to make it easier for people to get over here, or all of that. None of that. I'm not going to talk about my feelings on illegal immigrants. Nothing like that. I don't want to get into the politics of it. I just find it very hard and kind of wrong and offensive for someone who claims to be a Christian, such as I do claim to be a Christian myself, for someone who claims to be a Christian to go out and say to a kid, hey, you know what? Your dad, he should have come over here legally. It's his own fault. That's just not, that is not, you're supposed to be compassionate, you're supposed to care for him, like, whether that's how you feel or not, that is your prerogative, but to say that to a kid, that is just completely heartless, and I don't agree with that kind of thinking at all. I mean, even RG, he could agree with the idea that you should come over here legally, but he gets on here and talks about how his dad was a great person, and all of that. He understands the law. But man, you can't help but just want your dad back. No matter what he did, he could have murdered 50 people. You would still love him if he was there and he took care of you and he did everything he could for you. Like, and I'm not even trying, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to compare murder to illegal immigration. There's no comparison at all. But just no matter what, you got to think this kid is just missing his dad. He just needs a shoulder to cry on. That's it. And that's what he's getting on here talking about. Just like, dang, you know, I miss my dad. I want to have him back. This sucks. And just talk about the depression he's had to go through that, just growing up without a dad a lot. And I mean, he gets on here talking about a lot of stuff like, how his dad did not have a license and yet he was driving a church bus, and he's like, that's the worst thing he ever saw him do, and despite that he was still bringing people to church through doing that, you know. So it's like, yeah, he might not have had the license, he might have been endangering people even though he did know how to drive. It was technically illegal to do that, but he was still trying to get people to go to church through that. So no matter what he was doing it for the right reason, is what he was trying to say there. So he's just hitting you with a lot of deep content. I thought this was a great project. Very short, very quick, to the point, but man, he tells you about his life. He really opens up. And this is one that I definitely recommend checking out. It has something for everybody, from hype tracks to storytelling and just heartfelt music. Just everything on here. I have nothing more to say about this. I thought this was a great project, and I think that WHATUPRG has a great future in Reach Records. He really fits in with the rest of the crew, and I am looking forward to everything he has left coming out. I hope y'all listen to this one. I'm going to have to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was great. The only reason I'm not going with a higher rating is because I really wish it was longer. It just does not dive quite as deep into the content as it could have. If he had made it a little bit longer, maybe 10 tracks long, something like that, man, it could have been something special, and it really was really good. I absolutely love this project, and I look forward to coming back to it. It is really easy to listen to, being that it is only 15 minutes. So yeah, that's my personal thoughts on it. If you've listened to it, hit me up, let me know what you think. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. I will speak highly of it. Hit me up in the comments section with any suggestions y'all have for me. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe, all those great things. Hit the bell so you get notifications for my next video, and I will hit y'all up next time.